Hello, welcome to Abiding Life Studios. I'm Noah Wells, and I have Shay Wells and Steve Reinhard with us,
Always.
and with me, I guess.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello,
everybody.
hello, you two. Well, we had fun doing the last podcast on sex addiction.
hmm
Well, we had fun talking about it, then I stressed a little bit, but that's okay. We're good now.
hmm
I think whoever needed to hear it has heard it.
Yep.
And if you haven't heard it, maybe you should go listen to it because I think it does help with a lot of issues.
Well, it's also going to be a little preface to this podcast.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing is I wanted to talk about my sex addiction stuff that I've been through for most of my life.
hmm
It's probably as long as I can remember. But then, I was kind of in that state of life where, or maybe even state of mind, where you finally just go, okay, this is my life.
hmm
I'm going to constantly struggle. I always say struggle. I don't know what you want to call it, but I have deal with.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
just
is
going to be a
probably a
part
better
of
way. Yeah,
you.
it's just gonna be a part of me.
hmm
Like definitely the porn stuff, I'm just gonna always fall back into that, like no matter what. And like anyone out there who has kind of addiction stuff, I think you guys would relate to this part of it's very strange because all of a sudden, like a couple weeks will go by and you think you have it all figured out.
Of
You're
stopping.
of stopping,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you're not looking at all. You have no desire to look even. It's like, wow, that's kind of a weird feeling. So then you're like, oh, I think I'm finally finally getting some or finally cured or finally getting some healing from this.
hmm
I've had all these different thoughts of like this. And a couple weeks go by and you're like, oh man, this is amazing. I'm doing so good right now. And then all of a sudden the other shoe drops and it comes like tenfold. This like
hmm
rush of that sex addiction stuff. And it's just like, "Ah, I have to have it all. And it is so weird. And it's happened to me multiple times. I've talked to other people about it. They said the same thing. It like stops for a long time and then all of a sudden it just nails you. So that in itself brings a lot of shame.
hmm
And I think it's probably because, I mean, I've done this to myself many times. I think God has healed me.
hmm
And I'm like, oh, I'm healed now. This is awesome. I don't struggle with that anymore.
hmm
Oh, I don't run to it. This is amazing. And then all of a sudden it comes back and it just hits you in the face like a two by four. And you're like, oh, no, I'm not. He didn't heal me at all. This is terrible. I think and then for me, I always go, he's punishing me because it's way worse than it was before. And it's probably just because you've tricked your mind saying you've are done with it, right? So then
hmm
it's way, way worse. So that being said, Steve, do you have anything before I move on?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm just curious to hear what you have to say.
Okay. All right. So just that being said, I think I bring, and I think people with addictions and sex addiction things bring a lot of shame into life. And we feel that a lot. And for me, I do it to myself a lot. And for years, I thought God was doing it to me, but that's a whole probably another podcast. So yeah, so about 10 months ago, I was really kind of sick of it actually. I was really sick of when I went to porn, I would feel shame and then, beat yourself up over it. I'm terrible. I shouldn't be in ministry. The whole song and dance we do. I don't think it would matter what job I was in, but of course, ministry seems, you know, it probably seems worse, right? Or you can make it sound worse when you're in ministry. But so every time I go to just beat myself up, have so much shame, then depression. And that's like was one of Shay's biggest complaints. She's like, when you look, it's not like it makes you happy.
hmm
It's not like it's bringing anything good in your life, right?
hmm
So I think it always, I mean, you'd have to speak for yourself, but it seemed like it bummed out Shay a lot too, but just because, hey, if you're looking and you're doing great in life, okay, that's one thing, but you're looking and then you destroy yourself. Like I couldn't accept myself. There's something wrong with me. I'm always going back to that. I'm stupid. There's something wrong with me. I shouldn't be here. A lot of suicidal thoughts. I mean, for a while there, I was probably thinking about suicide probably 4 times a week. And not just thinking about like, oh, I should die, like really planning it out, which
Mhm.
is, sad and scary at the same time. But, and keeping that to myself, right? So that's not good either. So about 10 months ago, I was really, I was in that state of mind of just really, really sick of it and really sick of the shame, honestly. And this is around the time I thought God was giving me the shame. Like, yeah, it would make sense, right? I'm looking at something that's a sin. So he's giving me shame or guilt and,
Punishing you.
punishing me, and I should stop. And I couldn't. So around this time, and, I always have, you always have people tell you like the way you should pray to God, like, get serious, sit down, get serious, and just have this formula of way to say it to him, or, pray to him, and remind him of the Bible, what he said in it, and all that. I don't do that. Just so everyone knows, I do not pray that way. I sometimes have screamed at him. I've, probably called him every name in the book. You can do that. He won't kill you, everyone. But
He won't smite you.
yeah, he won't smite you. He has got some big shoulders. But for me, when I sat down, I was just like, you know what, God, I am so sick of the shame. And so this is my deal with you, is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at porn as much as I want, whenever I want. Whenever it crosses my mind, I'm gonna look at it. Because I just don't care anymore. And if I feel any shame, I'm just gonna look at shame in the face and go, nope, I don't want any part of it. And then I said, if you don't like it, you change it. And I kind of left it that prayer at that because I was just so at the end of it, just like I'm done fighting it. I
Mhm.
cannot fight this anymore. I've done it for so many, like 30 years, 30 plus years.
Well, and we've done all of the, because I know a lot of people, I've gotten a lot of emails in the last week from a lot of women that have asked about their husband looking at porn or sex addiction and things like that. And the question has come up of like, did you put the app blockers on? Have you done
Hmm.
all of
Yeah.
and you do, we've tried all
So
those
many
things,
things. Yeah,
right?
you do it all. Yeah.
And as a woman, you try to sit there and say, this hurts me and it's shaming me and it's ruining our marriage and our
Hmm.
sex life. And as a woman, we kind of take that blame on while you're also sitting in shame,
Yeah.
not in the moment,
Yeah.
but then after you're sitting in the shame, we're sitting in the blame. You try to put the app blockers on, you try to stop, you get into all the accountability,
Yeah.
and we had done all of that. And then eventually you kind of came to the end of your rope and said, whatever, God, I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
You do
You do you,
what you
man.
will. But I wanted to clarify because I know that's been a lot of questions from a lot of women that have been emailing me is, did the app blockers work? Have you
Hmm.
tried doing all of these things?
Yeah.
Yes, we've done all of the
Yeah.
things. And then eventually Noah was like,
Yeah.
God, this is you.
Yeah. You take it. I'm done.
I'm gonna
And
move
if you are
forward.
the one who gives me shame, I'm gonna tell you I don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
Like, and with that prayer, I was pretty mad because, you're pretty sick of it by then. So, that's what I did. I went on with my life. I just kept looking. If I ever felt shame or anything, I'd say, nah, nope, not feeling that. And just instantly just shut it down. So just kept going like that. And that was, and in that time, I was like, I do have a sex addiction, so maybe I should go to a group, So I started doing a group, and the group thing was awesome because the thing about, I think most people, when you struggle with something or tend to go to something that you shouldn't, you feel alone. You feel like
Mhm.
no one else has this feeling at all. So then that makes, I think for me, that's what makes me think about suicide because it's like God messed up making me. There's something
Mhm.
wrong with me. I was a mistake. I should just end it. So,
Can I say something about your
yeah.
group?
Uh-huh.
The thing about the group too is you're all Christian men.
Hmm.
You're all godly
Yeah.
men who, especially I feel like in the Christian world, we can't talk about things in, I
Certain
mean, we
things,
should
it
be able to,
seems.
and there
Yeah.
are times that we can. I'm saying not that we can't, but it was cool that you all believe in God, you have Jesus in you, but you all have this common thing that takes your
Yeah.
focus off of God. And you all were able to get together and just feel not alone
Hmm.
as other believers too,
Yeah.
which I think was really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. And it was like when one of them would talk or all of them, they'd be saying something. I'm like, that's exactly, that's exactly what
How
I've
you
thought
feel. Yeah.
my whole life. Like, and your eyes would just get big. You're like, this is amazing because I'm not alone. And it's like, oh wow, this is normal, I guess, in that it's normal thoughts or behavior in sex addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh man, I'm not alone anymore. So that alone really did help me just kind of like process a lot of stuff. And so like we were going through this it's like a big thick Christian for sex addiction
Booklet.
booklet, yeah. But like in one of the booklet in one of the chapters, it was like, have you fully given your sex addiction to God? And I was like, oh, I don't know. So when I was driving home, I was, thinking about that. I was like, man, have I really just like fully given it over to God? And I'm like, I don't think I have. And so then my thought process was like, well, can we? And my instant gut reaction was no, don't do that. And it was like, oh my goodness, so this is like my little precious, right? This is mine. And so then I started processing that too, is like, okay, no, are we sick enough of this to give it to God? And do I trust God enough with it? That's a big one too, is like, if I give this to God, what will he do with it?
What will you take from
Yeah,
you?
what will he take from me? Because if this is my big cope and he takes that, what am I going to do when something bad happens? Even though I wasn't using it for that, I was using it just for
For daily
for
survival.
daily survival. But it's like that is there if something bad happens. I do have acceptance there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're just, all those thoughts are going through my mind, and I was like, oh man, can I actually give it to him? And so I did. I said, okay, God, I don't know what you're gonna do with this, but I give you, the porn addiction and I give you the sex addiction part of it. And yes, I'm very terrified to even say that to you, but I'm just letting you know I am giving this to you, and I felt good about it, right? And then just, went on my day, didn't really think about it again because, I'm still looking at all the stuff. I'm like, I already told him if he doesn't like it, he can change it. He hasn't changed it in 10 months, so okay, I guess he's okay with it, so I'll just keep going. And so around this time, and then, probably a couple months later, it was like, Shay and I, like, if you guys do unique self-tests, I'm feeler doer. So in sense how God made me, I should like touch. But I think from past experiences, the sexual abuse and stuff like that, I it took a lot of us in our marriage to like for her to be able to touch me without me getting like actually kind of a stomach ache, right? So the way we kind of made, I'm the one who made this marriage this way is like we don't touch unless we're gonna have sex. So don't, we're not gonna touch at all. But if we do start touching, okay, that means we're ready to have sex, right? So, and that's how I made it. But this one day, it was on a Thursday, I was thought, man, my body's craving touch right now. And I was like, this is kind of different. I don't
Mm-hmm.
ever feel this way ever. And so I told Shay, I said, hey, can you come over and touch my chest? Can you just rub my chest for me? And she's like, sure,
Sure.
she's always up for it. And
Why not?
so she's touching me and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know what this is. I don't know what God's doing here. because I felt like he's doing something. I'm like, but what would you be doing in this? So she did it for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I think we're good now. I was like, that's probably enough. Let's let's not do that now. So then I just kind of had that in my mind of like, I don't know what he's doing with that. And so then the next day, Friday, we were supposed to go meet with another couple for discipleship, and Shay woke up not feeling well, so we had to cancel that. And then like what, 10 minutes later, you felt fine.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I had that feeling again. I was like, man, Shay, you got to come over and touch me again. Can you just rub my chest again? There's
Hmm.
something going on. So she started doing that, rubbing. I said, "Oh, I think I need skin on skin." So I got my shirt off. And we're on the couch there. She's rubbing my chest. And then all of a sudden, I just hysterically start crying. And I'm not a big crier,
Not at all.
right? I've shut that part of me off for a long time.
Yeah.
So I just start hysterically crying. And so I lay back and Shay just lays on top of me like a weighted blanket. And I thought it was so cool because the way God had all this kind of work out was he didn't have you say anything to me. You didn't say a word. You just laid on top of me and let me process what I needed to process, which I think was so helpful for me. And so, you know, I've heard people talk about inner child stuff, and I'm like, I've never like mocked it. I never knew what they were talking about.
Didn't
You know,
understand
I
it.
didn't understand it. So I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. That's like trying to talk to your inner child. I'm like, yeah, okay. Sounds good. Does it help? You
Hmm.
ask those kind of questions. Never, never even thought of that. I close my eyes while I'm crying and I see clear as day out of the darkness of my brain, little Noah come out of that. And he is so like defeated. You can see it on his face. He is just a shell of a boy, and he's got his head down and he just kind of came forward to me very, very sad. And so out loud, I just started apologizing. So I just said, I'm so sorry what you've had to go through. I'm so sorry that you had to go through the sexual abuse, the cutting, the
Hmm.
burning, the self-hatred. I mean, that's where it all stemmed from was when I was a kid, and I brought that into being an adulthood. But all that like serious hatred for ourselves came from a
Yeah.
kid. And I was just apologizing to him and all of a sudden it just kind of, I opened my eyes. I was like, okay, Shay, you can kind of sit up. She sat up and we just started talking about it. So I was telling her what I saw and I was like, that was the weirdest thing, I've ever experienced. Like
Hmm.
that doesn't even make sense to me. And what made me think of apologizing? That was interesting too, So we were just talking about this for a little bit and then all of a sudden I started like so this was like 20 minutes later. I started rubbing my feet together. And I hadn't done that since I was a kid. So like,
Hmm.
just one on top of another. And I was like, so then I started hysterically crying again because I'm like, and I told Shay, I said, I haven't done that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I almost died when I was a kid. I got really, really sick in a hospital. And my mom took me in and what I had was chicken pox in my liver. So I had chicken pox, but instead of being on the
Internally.
outside, they were all on the inside. So I was so sick, and the doctor said, one more day I would have died. And so I just remember, so that memory came through of just like moving my feet like that because I was terrified
That was
then,
the
right?
comfort in the
Yeah,
hospital,
that was
was
the comfort
just
in the hospital. Like
moving
we
that.
are together, my body's here. And so I have this thought, this memory. And all of a sudden, my body, I like laid back in my body. I mean, the best way I can describe it was seized.
Yeah.
Was that the best word you could use?
Yeah.
Like I fully like I made fists. I couldn't like bring my hands out. I was just on the couch, like fully flexed. My legs were so, so tight. And so Shay just laid on top of me again.
At this point, I'm thinking if this continues, I don't know whether to call our friend that's a therapist
Uh-huh.
or call 911.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
because it
like,
was freaky. It was a
what is
weird
happening?
experience. And so, she's just laying on top of me. I'm flexed like this, and I start rubbing my legs because oh man, they hurt so bad because they were so tight. I was so flexed and everything. And so I was like, okay, I'll start apologizing to my body. So I started apologizing to my body. I was like, I'm so sorry. Same thing. So sorry you had to been through the sexual abuse. So sorry for the cutting, the burning, hating ourselves, all the
Mhm.
stuff that I've done to my body. And the just like I don't know, like it was just so so uncomfortable, the
Mhm.
tightness. So then I started telling it, we're okay.
We're safe now.
We're safe now.
Mhm.
You don't have to protect me like you used to. Thank you for protecting me when you needed to when I was younger, but you don't have to protect me anymore. So just be okay. We're okay. We're okay. And I just kept repeating that
Mhm.
and thinking it, my body at the same time. And then all of a sudden, Shay said it was like laying on concrete to then laying on like a what? A feather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I just sunk into the couch. And for me, I call it a trauma release. I'm sure there's probably a different name for it, but I felt this gigantic, like there was a weight on me and it just like left.
It's like an exorcism.
Yeah, like Shay goes, "Are you sure?" Afterwards, she says, "Are you sure demons can't be inside you
When you're a
when
Christian,
you're a Christian?" I said, "No."
look it up
I was
because I
like,
was like,
"No."
that was freaky.
Yeah, it was super freaky, but it was like this huge release, and I was like, "Oh!" And I stopped crying. I sat up, and I was like, it was just the weirdest thing. I started like looking around at stuff. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen things like this before. And I think the biggest thing from that release, one of the biggest things, was I looked at Shay and I said, "You've known me for 16 years, and you know for a fact I would never say this. I've never believed this once about myself, nothing." And I said, "At this moment, it's such a weird feeling that I feel 100% enough." And then I, of course, started crying again but those were happy tears.
Mhm.
I truly, and I still do. I still feel enough.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking how many years went by that I weren't enough, and you
Mhm.
constantly like you exhaust yourself trying to be enough for God, for my family, for myself, and all of a sudden it's just all there was like, I am enough. I'm enough for God. I'm enough for her. I'm enough for my kids. I'm enough for my friends. And it was just like this, oh man, it was just like this huge like spiritual moment of just recognizing. I guess recognizing that I was enough this whole time, but
Mhm.
not believing it. And all of a sudden finally I was believing it that I was enough and recognizing, oh, I've had this the whole time.
Hmm.
And I've been missing out, really.
Mhm.
So it was, I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, God is He does how whatever your story is your story, right? How God allows things to come out. This was the way he had this come out. He could have it a different way another time, but this is the way it happened. I know it might sound a little strange, but this is the way God had it for me. So in that, like we're still sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden, after I said I'm enough, like I have like I had porn on my phone, right? And I just went right on there, deleted everything.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know if this is just one of those moments where it's going to be 2 weeks where I feel like because I'm enough now, and then in a couple weeks I'm going to just be all into it again.
Mhm.
So, but at that moment I was like, I don't need this anymore. That's weird. So I kind of took that away. And I was just like, it's kind of, it was just kind of a weird, I had a lot of weird feelings. Before this, I had been only sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night if I was lucky. I would shake really bad in my sleep. Shay said it would look like I was having a seizure. My neck would be moving, my head would be moving like really fast, and I'd jump a lot. It was like, I was starting to go to a lot of sleep specialists and stuff. That night I slept 8 hours
Mhm.
like a baby. So then the next day, Shay's like, "Oh, I'm gonna surprise Noah with a date." Because I mean, I'm sure you could tell I was different then.
Mhm.
Everything was different. And so I really like graffiti and things like that. And so she brought me downtown Denver where there's like this area that has a bunch of graffiti and restaurants and stuff. And she goes, "I just want to take you here so you can take pictures." And I'm telling you, it was like it was like, well, one, I probably look like a complete psycho, but I was like bawling my eyes out, taking pictures, and anyone who walked by, I would start talking to them, like, "Hey, how's it going? How are you doing?" Because it just felt like I was a whole new person. And they're like, "Oh, fine, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm great," and I'm just bawling. And taking pictures, and I told Shay, I said, it really feels like I've been wearing black and white glasses my whole life, and I finally have put colors lenses in, and I see the world, I see everything so differently. I see how God's made things so differently now. And so, then we went and ate, and she's just watching me because it's like we had like a piece of pizza, and I was like, I've never had pizza before. Everything
Mhm.
tasted different too. It's like it was just like this amazing feeling. And then she got me this like dessert brownie thing, and I was just like eating it like she said I looked like a kid because I was so happy that it was like the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. And it was just that moment. I was just like, this is what I've been missing in the
Mhm.
Christian walk, right? Like this whole time I just have been fighting for what, to feel enough for God, probably mainly. And now I feel it, and it's like, no one's taking this from me. This is mine now. I'm keeping this one.
Yeah.
And so, days went by. Shay was like leaving town for our daughter's volleyball stuff. She'd leave and she'd come home and she'd always check on me, not to like, she always checked on me about the porn stuff, not to
Not to nag
not
about
to
it, but
nag,
to
but say,
make
"Hey,
sure
how
you
are you
weren't
doing?"
suicidal
Yeah,
over
not suicidal
it.
because you looked at it. And she came home after like a week being gone, and she's like, "All right, so did you end up looking this week?" And it was the weirdest thing when she asked me. I was like, "Oh, that's weird. I didn't even think about it.
Mhm.
I didn't even think about it once." Well, that's different because the other times before when I've tried to quit, you try to quit but it's still your focus.
Because stopping is now the focus, not just
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
But it's still the
It's
focus.
still the focus.
It's
Yeah.
just
It's
now it's
like,
on stopping instead of
yeah.
watching.
Yeah. And it's like every day, every minute, every hour, you're still thinking about looking, but it's like, no, but I'm trying to go so many days. Ooh, I
Mhm.
made it, 5 days. Woo, that was amazing. But the whole time you're struggling, you know?
You're
Oh,
miserable.
you're miserable. Anything makes you mad. Like a leaf blowing in front of you is like, I hate that leaf. But so yeah, so like that was so weird to me. Like, yeah, I'd never even thought about looking. So now it's been 4 months since the last time I looked at porn, and it's like to me, it makes zero sense to me. I don't understand it when I was that addicted to it, and then having it just completely removed from my life. I don't understand it, but I'm enjoying it. But then, on the flip side of that, you enjoy it, you enjoy that, but then you go, and I know this is going to sound weird, but then you go, what do I do now with that free time?
hmm
It is a kind of a weird feeling that you have this extra free time because usually you use that to look at all this stuff. And now I have this free time. So now I'm trying to like figure out like little things I can do instead of waste my time with that stuff. But I mean, I think the whole point of me who that wanted to share this story was if you can actually come to whatever you're struggling with and actually have trust enough to give it to God and see what he'll do with it
In his time.
and his time because like I said it had been like 10 months had gone by and nothing had changed. So I was like, well, we're good, right? Right. That's just the way this is life is. he's just gonna have to accept it how it is, you know. But so I think that's the biggest thing I got out of it was, oh, I can give you basically anything, and then I can just trust that you'll take the time to remove it from my body, remove it from my life if it needs to be removed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing, and then I'm sure Steve has questions. But in the last 4 or 5 months since this happened, you still have had addictive thoughts
Oh yeah.
or things. And
Yes,
so
absolutely. The
it's
addiction's not
it's
gone.
that the addiction is
That's true.
gone.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like, oh my gosh, this trauma release happened.
Yeah.
My addiction is gone. I now don't think
Yeah.
about anything. I don't.
That is very true.
It's still there. But there's almost like this freedom of knowing, well, no, I gave that to God, so I don't need to keep focusing on it.
Hmm.
But it's definitely still there. It's not like, I think sometimes as Christians, we're like, oh, if I give this to God and God takes it and He heals me from it, I
Hmm.
will never deal with it again. I will never think of it. And if
Yeah.
that has happened for you, amen for you.
Yeah,
That's
that's awesome.
great. Not saying that God's not capable of it, but he took this shame piece of it
Hmm.
and he let you recognize where it came from with these childhood things,
Hmm.
but he didn't take every um addictive thought and things out of you.
No,
It's
you definitely
still
didn't do that.
there. It just doesn't take your focus and allow you to shame yourself anymore
Yeah.
with this release.
Yeah, that's a good point. I definitely, I would still say I have a sex addiction,
It's still there.
but at the moment, and I've thought about this too, I still have a choice. You know, he still
Yeah.
gives me a choice. I have a choice every day. Do I go look or not?
Well, you have the addiction still, but you're just not using the porn as the cope.
Yeah, right.
But the root thoughts are still there.
Yeah,
But it's no longer porn is no longer your focus
yes,
after this release.
yes, I agree.
But I don't want people to listen to this and go, man, if I just pray about this, I will never have a
Yeah,
sexual thought, a thought
yeah,
about food, a thought about shopping,
yeah,
whatever it is that we go
true.
to because we all have something. Oh, if I go to God about my food addiction, and he shows me where it stems from and I have this trauma release, I'll never think about food again. Like,
Yeah,
that's not what happened.
yeah.
There was this big release, but it's been a really big shift in focus to where it no
Hmm.
longer controls you, but you still are human and have thoughts.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Steve, the floor is yours.
Oh, I was I was hoping Noah had got beyond being human.
I know.
I
How dare he?
know, I'm sorry. I have to disappoint still.
Yeah, so I was thinking, as you were sharing that beautiful story of mm, of discovering you're enough.
Hmm.
mm, I think probably most of us would like that feeling,
Hmm.
that belief, that experience. Um, so I'd like to say, like, well, like, what's the trick? Like,
I know.
why wait, 14 years or however long, or 40 years? Why not, like, move that direction when you're 20?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And so, but I think that'd be for me, not a really good question. Um, but my observation was, just as you told the story, the real problem was when you quit trying,
Hmm. Yep.
God showed up.
Yeah, God
And,
showed up.
and
Exactly.
and then you listen to your body
Hmm.
because he's in your body, and you listen to your body, and you said, "Oh, I need touch."
Hmm.
And then you asked for what you needed,
Hmm.
and then that little Noah appeared,
Hmm.
and you listened to him, and
Mhm.
you acknowledged him, you acknowledged the pain you'd been through, and asked, apologized, right?
Hmm.
And so you acknowledged him, and then you listened to your body, and acknowledged what you put your body through and apologized to your body um and then well then you like woke up and stopped seeing everything just in black and white and saw color
Hmm.
uh and and you were enough.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that you actually had um, an impact in that you made some choices along the way, like listening to your body saying, "Hey Shay, I need you to touch me. Come touch
Hmm.
me."
Yeah. Come
Yeah.
touch me.
And so I think those would be some things that I would think for me to take away would be is like, oh, I'm gonna start listening to my body.
Hmm.
I'm gonna start listening to those. Maybe each of us or maybe some people have a part that's deep within them that's been kind of screaming for help
Hmm.
or attention, uh,
Yeah.
who's been trying to protect you all along,
Hmm.
and just needs to be recognized.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm missing it, but it seems like that's really was important in this process.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, even to your point, it was a week later, I think. I was walking on the treadmill, and then, I mean, I know it just sounds, to me, it still sounds different, but I could see my 15-year-old self come forward in my mind, and it was like, hey, I want to lay on the floor and listen to loud music. And I was like, okay, I don't mind doing that. So I turned the treadmill off, turned up loud music. I think I was listening to The Cure or something like that, cranked it up, laid on the floor, and then I could feel my 15-year-old self was like, hey, if you're throwing out apologies, I wouldn't mind one, you know? And so I started apologizing to him as well. It's just like, I'm sorry what I put you through. And, all that. And I started crying. And then all of a sudden, right after I started crying, I started laughing. So I'm like, am I, am I going crazy? But it's right. You're just listening to yourself more. Like lately, my body's like, I want to go outside and just look outside.
Hmm.
So I just, wherever I'm at, I just get up and go outside
Yeah.
and just go, okay, I'll listen to that. If that's what you need, I'll go out there.
Well, the thing that I think we all forget is right now we are products of our whole life.
Hmm.
There are pieces of us from our past that we still carry. Our brain carries literally from birth till death. Everything is in our brain. And I remember when I was in college, I had an anatomy and physiology class, and we had cadavers, which was my favorite class personally. And I remember one of our cadavers, he was 98 when he died, and we held his brain. And my professor looked at us and said, you are holding every thought, every memory, his kids being born, his grandkids, he was in World War II, all of these, all of these things you're holding in your hand.
Mm.
And I think we sometimes forget that no matter what age you are, you still had things in your life that affect you today. And that's just the reality of life. And so when we have like these pieces of our childhood or our teenage selves, it may sound a little wonky, but we carry memories that affect how we act today. And I think we sometimes don't allow ourselves to be reminded of that or walk through it or go, man, that scenario when I was 5, that really sucked. Because of that, I'm really feeling unloved today. Like there is that piece of us. There are pieces of our past. I feel like sometimes we're like, nope, we have Jesus in us. We are this age, so we need to just keep on trucking along.
Hmm.
When there are pieces of us, it does affect us. And so I think recognizing those pieces and going, wait, when I was a teenager, I was so heavy into suicidal thoughts and that created this rut in my brain that is what I go to.
Hmm.
So I can recognize that is what my survival, like you survived so many things in your life because of porn. And for that, I'm grateful for porn for you
Hmm.
because that was your survival in those times. You needed that to survive. But
Hmm.
now you can look back and go, wait, we are no longer being hurt in those ways.
Hmm.
I don't need this. Now I can move on. But there's something powerful about recognizing that so that you can move forward in your
Hmm.
life. And
Yeah.
so I know sometimes people get all weird about inner child things or weird about, I mean, people don't even want you talking about your past because it's in your past. And
Hmm.
especially if you're a Christian, you've been born again. So forget all your things. You're fine now. There's something powerful about being back there and going, wait, that did suck. That is affecting me in this way. I can give it to God and move forward.
Hmm.
So,
In one way, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but one way you can move forward is when the teenage guy comes. Um, if you had a teenager come over to your house and told you how scared he was, or you probably wouldn't apologize to him.
yeah.
Right. True.
You probably would say, "Hey, we're going to walk through this life together.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not going to leave you.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
going to leave you.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be with you the whole way."
Mhm.
Hmm.
Oh, and by the way, I just discovered something about you. I think I want to let you know, and that 17-year-old guy that wants to lay on the floor and listen to loud music. I just want you to know you're enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're
Exactly.
enough
Yeah.
Yeah.
right now.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I liked your point too of, and I've thought about it as well, as it was me stop trying to fix me.
Hmm.
I kept trying to fix me for God. I was like, no, God, I love you so much. I'm going to show you how much I love you. I'm going to get away from all this
Be a
stuff.
warrior.
Yeah. And it just never, ever worked for me till it finally, and I think that's what he wants. He wants you to get down to your end and go, all right, it's yours. I don't
Hmm.
want any part of it anymore. But
Yeah,
I'm,
well, you didn't even say that. You just said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And
yeah,
if you don't like it, then deal with it. That's
yeah.
okay.
And you deal with it. Yeah.
Right? So it's like I really like that because as long as we fight the things, the very thing that we fight, the thing that defeats us has got us by the throat. So when we
Hmm.
stop fighting and just go, oh, I'm going to give in to it
Hmm.
and see what God does,
Yeah.
that sounds backwards, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It
sounds
does.
sounds like, well, man, that's really a recipe to sin, but I think it's not. I
Mhm.
think it's the recipe to victory to be able to stop fighting and just go, like why would I want to do battle with me?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
And I think maybe that's the first step to finding out that we really are enough is to be able to say, hey, you know, I'm, I'm going to quit this fight.
Yeah.
A couple podcasts ago, you guys talked about surrender, and it's like, that kind of puzzled me because I don't
Mm-hmm.
ever really think of that. But maybe that's what surrender really does mean is like, I'm stopping fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight this anymore. I'm
Hmm.
actually going to throw up the white flag. I'm not
Yeah.
fighting. I'm not fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting it and not going to try to change it either. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
True belief. I mean, we say it all the time, right? We have a big God that can do big things, and but then we keep trying to fight all of these things on our own instead of
hmm,
going, I
you
believe that
gotta
you're a
go.
big God, so here it is.
Yeah, because it bugs us more than it bugs him.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
And the shame you felt is so uncomfortable.
Oh man, yeah. It's so
Or
brutal.
more, and we know it doesn't come from the Lord.
Mm-mm.
A shaming person, he doesn't. That's not how he operates.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, during this time is when when God told me about God, Jesus doesn't throw stones. It was in this time because I was in the shower. That's when I talked to him the most. And I'm just sitting there going, I don't think you like me at all. And not just that, you punish me all the time. I try my hardest. And that's when he brought up that scripture to me, and I was like, yeah, I've heard that scripture before, dude. Don't care. Yeah, wow, yeah, he drew in the sand. Don't care. And he's like, yeah, but do you understand? He had every right to throw the stone, and it's like, oh. And he didn't throw stones then, he's not throwing them at you now, and it's like, oh, so I'm throwing them at
Yeah,
myself.
quit making yourself miserable and move forward.
Okay, that was a pretty big eye-opener thing. Like, oh my goodness, I'm the one who's making myself miserable
Mhm.
because
Mm.
I'm trying to be enough, right?
Yeah.
Or trying to be perfect, or I guess that's being enough too. But yeah, so the enough thing, even afterwards, I was like, God, okay, now how do I teach this? Is there any way I can teach how to, what's the magical pill now I can tell people? And it's just, I heard nothing. It was like, okay, I get it. It comes from you. It
Hmm.
has to come from you. We have to give it to you. Whatever's going on with us, we have to give it to you. And then you can take care of it
Move forward.
and move forward and
So
keep
many
moving.
people
Yeah.
don't understand that piece,
Yeah.
right? I give it to God and I'm sitting and I'm resting. I'm abiding. So I'm
Yeah.
sitting and I'm resting and I'm abiding. I gave it to him.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to move until he fixes it or takes it because then that's scary.
Yeah.
Because what if we move in the wrong direction? We
Yeah.
hear it all the time and it's like, give it to him and go.
Yeah.
Keep living, keep moving forward. Because if we really do have a big God, he will deal with it in his way in his time.
Yeah.
But
And it's the
but
perfect
every time
time.
we try to stop doing things in our own power, it just steals our focus from him. And that's all it does is just it steals everything because you're just working on your own power.
Yeah. Own power.
Kind of reminds me of that quote. I don't know if it's by Saint Francis or one of the Catholic saints, where he said, somebody asked him, he goes like, like what should I do in this situation? And he goes, oh, love God and do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So simple, but none of us do it, or a lot of us don't do
Right.
it.
You just love God and do what you want.
Yeah. Love God and do what you want.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's awesome. Then we move forward. I like the idea of moving forward and
me too.
doing what we really want deep down in our core being.
Yeah.
You're listening to those parts of you that are speaking to you. They're really kind of communicating
Yeah.
what you really want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know there's like another part of me, but I've been running from this part. Shay knows it too. There's a part of me I know I need to like do that same thing where I sit in it. But every time that thought comes in, I run. So it's the sexual abuse. I know I just need to sit, and every part of my body's telling me to do it. But I am just so absolutely terrified. So I know I'll do it eventually, but at the moment I have ran from that for about what, 4 months now.
Yeah, because there is a piece of you that literally feels like you're going to die.
Yes, absolutely. I think if I'm going to sit in it, I will die. I won't make it out of that. Sitting in it, thinking about it, how it happened, all the details of it, and just I don't, yeah, like right now, even talking about it, I get so like I get this terrible feeling
But
in
your
me
body's
of
actually
like,
been begging you to do it. Like you
yeah,
can feel that
oh, I
pull,
can definitely feel the pull.
like
It's
you
like,
have
come
the other
on, let's
times of
go.
like, we need to go sit in this.
Yeah, and
And
I
you're like,
run from it
no.
every time, and it's not doing me any favors running from it. So I really do need to just say, God, let's do this, you're with me. Let's sit together and go
Well,
through it.
maybe we'll do a podcast after you do that. Maybe we'll do a podcast on what that was like for you.
Yeah, because I will do it. It's just right now.
Unless you die, and if you
Yeah,
die,
unless I die
Shay
from
and
it.
I'll
Yeah,
do a
then
Then
podcast
Steve and I will do a podcast on it and
yeah,
we'll
it's
let
like, oh
everyone.
well, he didn't survive,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't survive that, so uh,
which would be shocking
yes,
Yeah.
that would be very shocking. Yeah, because we all know those are just
and
lies.
sad.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks for
sharing
talking.
that beautiful story and the experience that you've had, and discovering you're enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know that it ever gets any better than that.
I don't see how it could, honestly. Like feeling that enough, because I know the contrast. I know what it's like to not feel that. And it's not fun at
No.
all. So now I'm over here. I'm like, oh, I want this. Nope, you can't have it. It is mine. I'm holding on to this for dear life. This is all mine.
Yeah.
And and like we said, it's a total God thing. And the whole story I told you was a God thing. Like
But you had to
allowing that to
choose it.
happen. Yeah. So,
But you still had a choice.
That
yeah,
was
still a
beautiful.
choice.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing it
Yeah.
Yeah.
and sharing it with the world. I'm
Yeah.
really grateful to have been able to hear it and hear both of your experiences of it. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll do another podcast soon about who knows what.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for listening and till next time.
Bye.
Bye.